feel free to leave it in smart mode, and you can just change the wattages on the app on your phone. But I would probably just leave it in dumb mode and just shift around. So maybe you put it on level 3 and you just shift around from there. If you have a regular turbo trainer with no smart trainer capabilities, that's fine, just use that, or rollers. For the smart trainer, I usually just connect it to Zwift and ride the Tempest Fugit course, which is a nice flat course, so that way it simulates a road feel and I can just shift around through it, don't have to worry about any levels or anything. We have 2 minutes to game time. We're going to start with a warm-up. Make sure you have water, towels, any nutrition that you need. You shouldn't need too much fueling, but if you usually take some sugars on for a little bit more intense ride, let's take some sugars today. We're going to do Grant's Tomb, which is near and dear to my heart. It's usually the season opener for the New York City Criterium season, and it happens right near where I used to live for a very long time. So we're gonna race along to the Grant's Tomb crit. If you have any questions, pop it in the comments. I'm gonna flip over to that video in just a second. So just pop it in the comments. I'll be there, even though it's my old face talking to you guys through it. I'm gonna be right there. So let me know if you guys have any questions. We got about a minute and a half. Buckle up. Let's get ready. What's if you guys can think of your favorite race, what's your favorite race that you're looking forward to coming back to racing once racing opens back up again? I think Tulsa Tough was the first one I saw with a lot of big entries in it coming up for 2021. What's that race that you were wishing to race last year, or that you've been looking forward to reopening? Maybe Redlands. I'm picking all West Coast stuff now, but you know, what's a race you've been looking forward to? Let me know in those comments. DM me. Let me know. Maybe we'll take one of those races and race along to it coming up. All right, 20 seconds left. "15 seconds. We're starting with a warm-up, so you don't have to get ready to go all out. All right, I'm going to flip this over in just a second. So here we go. 3 minutes easy. It should feel like a 5 out of 10 if you're going by feel. If you're going based off of power, it's going to be 55% FTP. I used to just warm up at 50% FTP as the first level, but psychologically, for some reason, I like to start at 55. It just feels like I'm a little bit closer to the powers I'm going to hit later on. Just a little psychological tick I use. So this is, I'm not sure if I've actually used this exact footage before, but it's been a while, and it hasn't been since we've moved over to the YouTube platform. So this is Grant's Tomb. I actually used to live very close to this in New York City. This is up on the west side, the upper west side. If you're from New York, you get that joke. Sometimes people call Harlem the upper west side, or the upper. So this is in Harlem, New York, on the west side. Harlem's actually a pretty big, it might even be Morningside Heights, I'm not sure. It's a pretty big range of what you call Harlem. So there's a lot of people that I've raced with in this field right now, people that I knew from when we were younger. You know, some teams that have popped up since I've left New York. So some fun footage to watch. So we're gonna go nice and easy. This stripey kit up above or up in front of us, this is ButcherBox. Cool team. I don't know how many, but at least one or two have come over from Fifth Floor, which is an Adidas team. We have Rockstar video game, not Rockstar. Is there a Rockstar energy drink? And are they the same company? Now I'm not sure, but this is Rockstar video game up ahead in bright pink, maybe 3 bikes up. All right, guys. We're looking at 50 seconds left before we jack up the intensity on our warm-up a little bit and we're going to move to tempo pace. Tempo pace today is going to be 70% FTP. If you're going based on feel, 6.5, 7 out of 10. Any RPM you want. I would suggest something over 80 and under 100, personally. But just go based on feel. Don't worry about the RPM too much. Right now we're behind this green chevron kit, and that is Veselka, which is a restaurant in New York. It is a Ukrainian restaurant, I think. Here we go. 3 minutes tempo, 70% FTP, or make it feel like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. Breathing a little bit deeply. This is where you're going to hit one of those, probably should hit one of those ventilatory thresholds, which means your breathing has changed. It either happens at tempo or a little bit higher, closer to threshold. But you're breathing deeper, you're feeling sweaty, you're getting hot. That's what we're looking for. You have Veselka. I've only actually eaten there once or twice, but it's Ukrainian or something Eastern Bloc feeling. They have, I know it's not Russian, but it feels like a Russian restaurant, so something like that. That's actually that Veselka kit, I believe. I'll be corrected if I was wrong. I believe that's the kit was redesigned by Alex Ostroy, who you've probably seen his kits, Ostroy kits. They do a lot of collage-looking floral kits now. I believe he did that kit a couple years ago. All right, anyway, we are at tempo pace, breathing deeply, feeling hot, feeling sweaty. In a warm-up, I always think it's better to go based on feel than by numbers. So if tempo pace today feels like a sack of bricks and it's really hard, lower your intensity a little bit. This should feel like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10. You never know, maybe your power meter is miscalibrated, maybe your body is miscalibrated, maybe, you have a lot of fatigue in your legs, you didn't sleep well last night. It's not worth trying to hit a specific power target in a warm-up. Take the warm-up based off of feel, let your body recalibrate, and then try the workout. If the workout then is shit and it's still everything feels way too hard or just inappropriate, then you scrap the workout. But at least for the warm-up, go based on feel. This is Endurance Works up on the left, headed by Chad Butts. It still is, I assume. I think they changed locations. A bike fit studio, and they had bike fitting and like trainer workouts. You could come and bring your team in the winter and use the kickers and what were the other ones called? CompuTrainers. Hop on the CompuTrainers. It was a cool studio. All right, guys, 20 seconds left, and then we're going to go to, this is a little bit of a different deviation in our normal warm-up. We're going to do 30 seconds pretty hard, I believe. I could be wrong on that. We're either going to do 30 seconds hard first, or we're going to do a little bit of threshold first. I forget what I programmed here. We're going to find out. That's a lie. 90 seconds spicy, so we're going to call that threshold. Threshold power, I would go for 95% threshold. Give or take a little bit. We're going to do this for 90 seconds. At the end of those 90 seconds, this is what I was thinking of. We're going to do a 30-second effort hard. We're looking at 120% FTP, which for 30 seconds isn't really that hard, but it's going to be hard relative to everything else we're doing. So we're going to get up into that VO2 max range. We're going to really start pushing that power. You're here for 90 seconds, and then we're going to do 30 seconds of hard. Don't sprint. Typically in these warm-ups, I'll put those short little 10-second sprints in. This is not an all-out sprint. If you sprint 100%, you're not going to make it to the end of these 30 seconds. This will happen twice. All right, guys, 15 seconds. Just get ready to ramp it up. If you're doing this manually and you're not on that pre-programmed like structured workout, you're gonna have to do this manually. Just ease into it. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 30 seconds. It said sprint, but we're not gonna full sprint. Ramp it up. Ramp it up. We should be at 120% FTP for another 20 seconds. If you're just going based off of feel, this is like an 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Breathing deeply. Right about now is when you wish that effort was over already. 7, 6. You're going to get a little bit of a rest after this in 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a quick breath. All right, you're going to take a 1-minute rest. We're going to do that again. 90 seconds tempo. 90 seconds threshold, and then a 30-second VO2 max effort. That 120% FTP, those are the efforts we're going to hit in our workout today, so that's why we're peppering this into the workout. I like piggybacking it right off the end of the threshold because it gives you that pre-fatigue, it pre-exhausts that aerobic system so that you're already very heavily aerobically invested, and then we bump it up a little bit, require a little bit more, actually kind of a lot of bit more muscular contribution. You really have to kick into it. So here we go. 20 seconds and we're going to do that again. 90 seconds of spicy, 30 more seconds of harder than that. All right, guys, here we go. This is threshold. I go to 95% FTP. Again, just kind of semantics. I always feel like I'm getting away with something by not doing 100% FTP, even though basically 95 and 100 basically feel the same. Just a little brain trick I play on myself to do some threshold work without actually being at threshold. Just little things that I do to trick my own brain. But anything between 95 and 105 is fair game on this. Spicy, we're here for probably 45 more seconds. We're going to finish with 30 seconds up at 120% FTP. So that's going to be a big kick. Again, if you're on that structured workout and you're doing this on a kicker, Cyclops hammer, is that what it's called now? Any smart trainer, attacks, whatever. Just pedal through this, and I would keep the cadence high because it's going to add resistance to you, so you just got to pedal through. If you're doing this manually, I would probably just start increasing that RPM little by little and then shift up once at the end. That's probably what I would do to ramp up into this. All right. Here we go, guys. 30 seconds hard. This is 120% FTP for 30 seconds starting in 4, 3. Just start ramping it up now. 2, 1. Here we go. Let's go, guys. 30 seconds. Come on. You have 20 more seconds. Try and keep it nice and smooth. Pedal through. All the way. You probably get a little bit of burn right here, wishing it was over, but we have 5 more seconds, so push through. Keep going. And boom. Take a 4-minute rest. All right. 4 minutes to just catch your breath, shake those legs out. We could talk about this course a little bit while we're recovering. Grab some water, use your towel, whatever you need. For any workout that's either long, so for me that means long is relative, right? If I'm doing any structured intervals above 80% FTP, and the workout's going to last more than 90 minutes, so it's probably going to be a 2-hour ride. Sugars. I'm definitely a carb-dependent athlete, but there's a lot of reasons why as an athlete in the middle of a workout, sugar is a good thing. We could talk about kind of the physiology of that on another time, but sugars for those longer rides. And then for an intensity ride, repeated intensity efforts, I recommend sugars. There are science reasons why that's good. There's also just, anecdotal, personal reasons on which workouts are successful and which fail. I just go to orange juice. I know it's bad for some people's teeth. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't react poorly with my enamel yet, I guess. So I go straight for orange juice, but there's plenty of sports mixes that have mixes of glucose, fructose, dextrose, whatever they mix in. They have a special blend that's great for sports. So I would check out some of those. This is one of those workouts. All of these workouts are those type of workouts. The Sunday structured rides, I tend to make them all slightly intensity based. Some are more intense than others. The reason being that you don't need a long, easy, steady state ride, because that's what you're going to do on your own. That's the easiest to do. That's the least structured. So I give you the most structured, sometimes the most intensity, so that you can look forward to that in the week and just plan that into your ride, into your program. Okay, so this is our start-finish line. Actually, the start line, you don't usually start here. This is just the finish line. There's usually a neutral rollout just on the other side of this hairpin, which we're not even going to take that hairpin. So we take this left. This is the church on our left that we're going around. Sometimes this course is slightly different at different times of day because the church, you don't always have a permit to use this side street entrance and have it closed off. This left-hand turn right here doesn't look very steep, but it actually is kind of a kicker, especially since you're kind of big ringing it all the way through here. You can see really getting up and mashing here. Cool. So this is kind of where the start would be. A little bit further back from that, but pretty flat, and then we start going downhill. It's going to be a downhill into almost 180 degree turn. So this is always a fight for position because that turn, we'll call it a hairpin, that hairpin turn decreases in width. So the width of the road right now is not going to be the width in that turn. Plus you're going downhill with speed. It's really not that tight of a turn if you take it on your own. However, if you have 6 people wide going into this turn at speed, once you hit that turn, you're going to compress. And someone's got to go in front, someone's got to go in back. Typically, someone's wheel will touch another wheel, and it's just whatever. This is a slight uphill. And it looks very flat when you're on it, but it actually ends up being uphill. All right, guys, that's enough for this course. That's going to take you back to the start-finish line. We got to get started. We're doing 90 seconds at 120% FTP. So this should feel like a 9 out of 10. Maybe starts at an 8.5 and finishes at a 9. Here we go. 120% FTP. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're doing 5 of these in a row with 1 minute rests between. I would keep my cadence higher rather than slower, so I would be aiming 90, 95. If you're feeling crazy, 100. It really depends on your gearing, your physiology, what kind of trainer you're on. If it's a structured smart trainer, you can pick any cadence you want, so I would just start spinning that thing up to like 95. It's going to help you out. We have less than a minute to go. Heart rate should really be going at this point. Generally, the last 45 seconds of these 90, it feels like it's 45 seconds too long. That's what you want. That's what this should feel like. If you're comfortable right now, you went a little bit too easy. Good. Finish all the way through. We have 30 seconds left. Keep that cadence up. Keep the effort up. You should really be looking forward to this recovery every time. If you're ever not really excited for that recovery, it was too easy. Seconds left. Finish strong. Let's go. Go, go, go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. You get 1 minute rest. Catch your breath. Easy pedaling. If you're on a smart trainer, and this is something that I wish there was a better solution for. If you're on a smart trainer, I always set the structured workouts to the rests are 40% FTP, which is pretty low. But if you stop pedaling because you're exhausted and you take that 1 minute rest, the trainer will start to lock up a little bit and it'll get really heavy and hard to get it started again. So as best as you can, when you're resting, try to keep pedaling through, because the smart trainer, it's going to lock up on you. It's going to try and force you to pedal that 150 watts or whatever your 40% is. And when you're resting, it'll make it real tight and hard to get started again. All right, this is our second effort out of 5 before a longer rest. 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys know what to do. 8.5 to 9 out of 10 effort. I would say it should feel like an 8.5 at the start. 30 seconds in, it probably feels like a 9. By the end, it probably feels like a 9.5. That's typically how this works out. Pedal, 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 pedal. Keep it up. All right, guys, we have 1 minute left. 1 more minute. Make sure that you're not letting your effort drop. If it feels the same as when you started, chances are you're actually lowering your effort so that it feels nice and constant. What should happen is we have a constant effort and it feels harder and harder as we go along. "30 seconds, guys. We should now be definitely feeling like it's a 9 out of 10, if not harder. Just a reminder, if you're looking at your power meter, we're targeting 120% FTP. If you're on a structured plan, you don't need to listen to anything about that, because you just do what the trainer does. 8, 7, 6, 5, all the way through. 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. We're going to get through this whole set. Because I just started releasing those structured plans for you guys to follow, I didn't talk about spin down or calibration. Typically, during that 4-minute rest or after you're done with the warm-up, do the full warm-up, because that gives you 10 minutes of heating up the trainer. Trainers are based off of, the resistance in the hub of the trainer, typically. So you need to heat it up so that any lubricants, any oils or grease or whatever, the viscosity sometimes changes at different heats. So you want to heat it up so that it gets to a nice normalized state, and then spin it down. So do the full warm-up first. During those 4 minutes, calibrate your trainer. If you have a power meter, also calibrate your power meter. That's the time to do it. Here we go, guys. This is number 3 out of 5, starting in 4. 3, right on Rockstar's wheel in 2. 1, coming through the inside. Here we go. 90 seconds. All right, this should feel like an 8.5 out of 10 at the start. Just a little note on taking a turn and then pulling off to the outside. That really only works in the velodrome, guys, unless you're leading out a teammate. On the velodrome, you pull out to the outside, and then you can use that potential energy of the track to come back into the pace line. If you peel off the outside of a turn, having been on the front, you're now going the long way around. In this case, up a false flat, making it much harder to reinsert yourself into any moving traffic. Stay on the inside, let people come around you, let them go the long way around, which will slow them down, give you a little bit more advantage on tacking back into that pace line, or whoever is bridging up to the next section. All right, guys, 30 seconds left. Unless you're doing it for a teammate, guys, really, don't do anyone favors. Maybe if they're your friend, but in that case, be friends after the race, not during the race. Only do favors to your teammates, and only if they deserve it. Just kidding. All right, 15 seconds left. You should be feeling 9 out of 10 minimum, 9.5 out of 10 maybe. Push, push, push. Come on. 3, 2, 1, and take a breath. All right. This is such a short course, which is fun. Sometimes short courses are fun because you get to try that same area, that same, I almost said section, kind of a mountain bike term, but you get to hit that same section over and over and over again. You get to, do different tactics through the turn each time. You get to take corners different times. different ways each time. That can be cool. It can also be mentally exhausting. So, you know, let me know in the comments what you guys think, what you prefer. I'm not sure that I have a preference. I like having more shorter laps, you know, because I come from the track. But man, after 40 minutes of that, it's like, get me out of here. Here we go. And 90 seconds. Here we go. This is number 4 out of 5. Because this is our 4th effort, you're probably starting off feeling just a little bit harder than before. So this should feel maybe like a 9 out of 10 already. Let's go, let's go, let's go. We get a 5-minute rest to do nothing after we do this set of 5 efforts. So you have this one and then the next one, and you get a nice big rest. Here we go. Pedal, 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 pedal. We have 1 minute left. You should feel at least like a 9 out of 10, if not a little bit harder. For me personally, I always find this is where I start pedaling at 85 RPMs. I'm starting to fatigue. Maybe my heart rate's high, so it just feels harder to pedal above 90, so I start finding myself pedaling slower and slower. Really try and push through, guys. Try and keep that cadence higher, smoother. Relax your arms. I always have the one shoulder that comes up for whatever reason. Relax your shoulders. Really pedal through these guys. It's always important to pay attention when we feel like we're about to fall apart. That's where you're going to make the most progress, is right in that time when everything feels like it's going out the window. 3, 2, 1. Good. All right, guys. You have one more of these efforts followed by a 5-minute rest. I really like the Endurance Works kit. Really cool looking. I've seen a bunch of teams, I don't want to say copying the Endurance Works kit because I don't know that they copied it per se, but this was one of the first ones. Very cool with the graphic all over. Look. All right, guys, this is your last one of the set. 90 seconds. 120% FTP in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. This is your last one. Number 5 out of 5. All right. Should probably feel like a 9 out of 10 already. We're 1 minute to go. So 30 seconds in, 1 minute to go. Check your power meter. Check your cadence. If you're doing this based off of feel, more is better. So go for a little bit more at this point. Pedal, 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 pedal. 45 seconds. Right on this Butcher Box wheel, we got E2 Value, which is E2 Value, I think, is an insurance company, car rental company. I'm not sure. I forget. Anyway, we have 15 seconds left, guys. If you think you underestimated yourself, just ramp up these last 15 seconds, make it a little harder, a little stronger. Pedal, 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 pedal. Come on. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Done. All right, guys. We get 5 minutes to just relax. 5 minutes, easy, chill. If you guys have any questions about your equipment or how to do this ride, if the first set of 5 was kind of funky, throw it in the comments. Ask me any questions. We have, 4.5 more minutes to go. I could be wrong. I believe it's Major Taylor's birthday today. So Major Taylor, pioneer of African American cycling, pioneer of cycling in general, one of the greats, has velodromes named after him. Teams across the country are named after him. So if in fact it is his birthday, which I think it is, but as you guys know, I've been wrong many times before, and I do not fact check myself beforehand. So I think it's his birthday, so that's super cool. A lot of cycling foundations are named after Major Taylor. The Taylor Foundation or Major Motion, I think, is like a club or they have clubs across the country. Very cool. All right, guys, probably 3.5, 4 minutes left of rest. Grab some water. Again, if you need it, grab some sugar for just sipping in between your efforts, not pounding sugar. If you have any questions, throw it in the comments. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. So I did just fact check myself, and I was wrong. It was November 26th, not November 29th. Today's the 29th. But it was close. All right, guys, we're back in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Make sure you have everything you need to really crush the next set. Same thing on the next 2 sets. 90 seconds on, 1 minute off. All right, 1 minute to go. That light blue kit is... Oh, I just had a brain fart. Is Star Trek. So Star Trek, T-R-A-C-K, not Star Trek. Star Treks is a track velodrome development program for juniors funded by the Parks Department. This light blue kit is Star Trek Elite, I believe it's called. They have a slightly different variation to the name, and it's people that have usually graduated out of the Star Trek program, but now it's just open to its own kind of thing. Still kind of loosely tied to the Star Trek program. And these light blue kits are the Elite kits. Similar to Foundation. Foundation, again, has a foundation team, like a, development team, and then they have the pro team at the top. All right, guys, here we go. You know what to do. 3, 2, 1, 90 seconds. Ramp it up. You'll see when it gives you the countdown, you'll see at the bottom, it'll tell you what effort you're on. So this is 1/5, so it's 1 out of 5. And B, because it's our second set, out of 3. I didn't want to put too many numbers down there. So this is effort 1 out of 5, set B. All right, guys, you know the drill. It should already be 8.5 out of 10, if not a little bit more. If you're feeling comfortable today and you're really feeling rested and on top of your game, I would experiment with doing a couple different RPMs. So on this set, maybe try and keep them all under 90. I'm not saying go to 60 RPMs because that's kind of extreme to be doing these 90-second efforts personally. But keep it under 90. Do 80, 85, which is going to feel kind of slow, kind of grindy, kind of heavy. Try that out for this set, and then on the last set, maybe we'll go over 100 for all of them. Just a suggestion, just something for you to try out. It's good to train at different RPM ranges, but also realistic RPM ranges for the most part. We have 20 seconds left. Keep it going. Push through. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. 1 minute rest.
I don't have the time, bro. I don't run watch. I'ma move regardless, just like the clock. Been around here before, I've been on this block. 25 to life bit, I live on this rock. Planet Mars, dog, my planet raw. Took trips and landed fall. Took hits,
So I'm always conflicted. Front view racing is very cool footage to watch. Sometimes it's important to see what's beside you or behind you. I don't always like the view. I don't always like to look at split screen view where you can see front and back at the same time. It just trips me out. So I recently got by recently I mean yesterday, got a 360-degree camera, so we're going to be able to look forwards and backwards whenever you want. Here we go. 90 seconds. Let's go. This should feel like an 8.5 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. So 360 camera, I'm going to test it out. We'll do some rides with it and see what happens. Oop, that guy has a split in his bibs. Wonder what happened. So we're going to test it out, see what happens. You should be able to pan around, see what's beside you, see what's behind you whenever you want in the race. So that should be a cool development for race footage. We'll see. All right, 1 minute to go. Push through. This is cold. This is usually the season opener. One of the season openers. Usually happening sometime in March, I believe. I believe it's March because it kind of falls around my birthday. Cold. New York City. Obviously, you can see there's snow out there. Sometimes it rains. People get hypothermia. It's not always a comfortable ride. Very spoiled being in Southern California now. And it's going to be very hard to ever go back just because of how nice it is here and how cold it can be over yonder. All right, 15 seconds left. Finish this effort out nice and smooth, nice and strong. You don't have to speed up towards the end. You just want to keep it consistent. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Just a tip for if you're on the trainer with smart trainers with smart trainers, it does the resistance for you. Typically, you'll notice this if you're pedaling along at 85, let's just say 90 RPMs. When it adds resistance, when it switches into that next interval, usually it takes a couple seconds to add that resistance. So it almost feels like it kicks in 4 or 5 seconds late sometimes. Similarly, it will reduce resistance the same way. It won't suddenly be easy. It'll kind of wind down the resistance. So pedal all the way through your effort until it gets back to being easy again. Otherwise, we start cutting this effort short. If it kicks in 5 seconds late, but you stop the minute the effort's over, now you've only done 85 seconds of effort. So pedal all the way through, do an extra 10 seconds at the end of the effort, making sure that flywheel's nice and easy. Here we go. Kick it back in. Effort number 3 out of 5. Pedal, pedal, pedal. Push, 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 push. All right. With the fatigue of our first set now being on our third effort of the second set, this should already be very close to a 9 out of 10. Whether that's in your lungs, in your heart, and you're feeling it cardiovascularly, or whether it's in the muscles of your legs, maybe a little bit of both, something should be right around 9 out of 10 at this point. Good. A little bit less than a minute. Push through. 45 seconds to go. Mentally, for me, on these efforts, I always count pedal strokes. You know, I count them in fours usually, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. And for 90-second efforts, I think I count backwards from 60. And that usually somehow works out to about, I just have a routine, something that gets me through these efforts, something that keeps my mind off of thinking negative thoughts like, wow, this hurts, I'm not going to make it. So whatever that is for you, looking at the scenery, paying attention to the race. There we go, 1 minute rest. I have a big mouth and I like talking, but a lot of times I try and talk through the efforts as much as I can to kind of distract you from thinking about how hard the effort should be. If that doesn't work for you, give yourself another tactic and make sure that you're not being distracted from doing hard work. You want to distract yourself from the pain. You don't necessarily want to be so distracted that you start going easier and easier. Two sides to that coin. And you just have to find out what works best for you. That's one of the nice things about that smart trainer is you don't have to worry about that effort decreasing because it is a given. It is given to you. All right, here we go. This is going to be effort number 4, I believe. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Effort number 4 out of 5. Pedaling through. All right. We have Endurance Works on the Argon. Really like the Argon bikes now. They had some. I am blind as a bat. It is a Cervelo, but we'll let that segue me to saying how much I like the Argons. There's the Argon up there as that foundation. They came out with some really cool Pursuit track bikes, some TT bikes on the track. I think they've done some really good work. They do a lot of work with Noshio. That's their sister company, which is Aerodynamic Testing Artificial Intelligence. So pretty cool stuff going on at Argon. 45 seconds left. Keep that cadence going. If you opted for a below 90 RPM, it's probably going to feel just a little bit more muscular, really pushing through. Try not to let your upper body reflect that too much. Sometimes when we pedal harder and slower, we get that soul cycle body going on. Try not to do that. Core tight. Let all that movement happen from the core down, from the belly button down. Good. We're big ringing this hill. When you big ring this hill 45 times in a row, it starts to really wear on you. Pedal, pedal, pedal. All right, 1 minute rest. Everyone likes to talk about which bike is the best, which one is, the stiffest, the fastest, the lightest. The reality is, for the most part, every bike brand has a very good race bike. At least one, sometimes more. But you can get a great giant bike racing. I'm so bad with the giant models. I used to ride a giant. That was my first race bike, was a giant. I don't know what the top tier giant bike is right now. Is it a Propel? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to start this effort. This is your last one. I'll try and distract you through this last one in 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Number 5 out of 5. It should already feel like a 9 out of 10. But the reality is every manufacturer is going to have a highly developed, light, carbon strong race bike. Partly because every bike manufacturer has a place in the Pro Peloton, and they need to have a Pro Peloton worthy bike. So every company has at least one. So you're not necessarily, if you can't afford a Pinarello, it doesn't mean you're not going to get a great race bike from Cannondale, from Giant, whatever. You actually don't see a ton of Pinarellos in the Pro Peloton. You don't see a ton. You see plenty, but you don't see a ton. Giant, we have 30 seconds left, guys. Make sure this feels like a 9.5 out of 10 at this point. Giant actually is could be wrong, again, did not fact check, the biggest bike brand. A lot of people think it's Specialized because of how good they market. I think Giant is actually the biggest bike brand. And I'll let someone else fact check that for me. Put it in the comments if you know that Giant is not the biggest bike brand. Let me know who is. Here we go, 10 seconds, finish strong. This is followed by a 5-minute rest in 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam. 5 minutes rest. Chill. Watch the race a little bit. Alright, let's do just a little bit of Googling on the biggest bike brand. Oh! Well, according to Wikipedia, it's Giant. So that was right. It has manufacturing facilities in Taiwan, mainland China, Netherlands, and Hungary. Huh. I did not know they also had Redline. I used to ride a Redline for my cross bike, my cyclocross bike. Huh. Interesting. Okay, well anyway, according to Wikipedia, Giant's the biggest. I don't know what that metric is. Is that sales? Is that volume of bikes? Who knows? All right, you can see things are heating up a little bit in this race. The speeds are higher. The quarters are closer. The attacks are coming. We're coming into the final set of efforts. 90 seconds on, 1 minute off, 5 times. That means, what is that, 3, 6. Let's just call it the final 10 minutes of the race. So when we start when we start our first effort, we're going to be about 10 minutes from the end of this race. So let that correlate to what you're seeing on the screen. We're going to be looking at final 10 minutes of a crit, final couple laps on the board. 2 minutes to go. A lot of times, I say this a bunch, but the order you come out of the last corner is typically the order that you finish the race. Typically, doesn't mean it's always true. There's always lead outs, there's always really long straightaways. But the first 6 people out of this hairpin on the final lap, one of those people are going to win, and they're probably going to finish top 6, generally. You know, sometimes the 7th person finishes 6th or 5th, but very rarely in this race and in a lot of races does anyone outside of that top 6 coming through this corner finish higher than top 6. This is a little bit different because it's a very long straightaway. I would say probably less than a kilometer, but more than 200 meters. 200 meters is probably right about here to the finish line. So we're talking about a 500 meter effort, 600 meters on the straightaway. It's long and it's slightly uphill, but it's also short enough that it's hard to overtake anyone. So that was a lot of words to say not a lot of information. Basically, top 6 out of that corner will probably finish top 6. We'll see. I already know how this race ends, so I'm not going to say anything about whether top 6 finishes top 6 or what happens, but generally that's how it works. All right, guys, 20 seconds left. We're coming into our final couple efforts. If you did your own RPM the first time and you did a little bit lower RPM the second set, let's do a little bit faster. 95 plus. Trying to keep that RPM above 95, max 105. So 95 to 105, here we go. Effort 1 out of 5. Set C. Good. Pedal, 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 pedal. Sometimes it can be weird to watch people coasting on the screen while we're pedaling. That's just how it works, guys. Pedal. This should feel like an 8.5 out of 9 minimum. Anything under an 8.5 out of anything less than an 8.5 out of 10 is too easy. All right, we should probably be feeling like a 9 out of 10 at this point. You have 45 seconds to go. This is your third set. It's the first effort, but it's your third set, so that fatigue, that residual fatigue, you should be feeling this in the leg. Push through. All the way. 30 seconds left. Come on. 20 seconds to go. This last set, for me, when I did this workout earlier this week, I think I did it on Monday or Tuesday, the last 20-30 seconds on this last set were just hanging on for dear life. 4, 3, 2, 1, take a breath. For me personally, I was really falling behind. A lot of times on these efforts that are, 120% FTP or more, it is cardiovascular. I am sweating, but I can hold on cardiovascularly. That'd be fine. For me, a lot of times it's muscular endurance because I trained exclusively as a sprinter for many years. I can put out a lot of force for a short period of time, but once you start extending that, it really starts to wear on me, and my muscles are not made. They're not great at doing a pretty high level of effort for extended periods of time. So that's something that I have to train and that I struggle with. For you, it could be more cardiovascular. Your legs might feel fine, but you feel like your lungs are exploding. Whatever it is, usually those last 20-30 seconds on this set, that's where you're going to feel it. Here we go. Second time out of 5. Here we go. All right, you'll oftentimes see a lot of bunching up on this back straight because it's a little bit uphill. You're coming through that hairpin with speed. You went downhill, and then you start going uphill on this false flat. It's probably 1% or so. You start doing this false flat, bunching up, getting ready for this weird left-hand turn that goes over pieces of metal. So it'll usually bunch up in the back here. Great place to attack going into your final lap, so like a lap and a half to go. All right, guys, 45 seconds left. Pedal, pedal, pedal. If you're going for those faster RPMs on this set, take a look. Clamps down. Are you 95 RPMs or more? Pedal, 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 pedal. Come on. $30 seconds left, and this is where it would be dragging on me. So this is where I focus even harder. When you know the parts that are going to really hit you hard, that's where you save up most of your effort for, most of your mental effort. Put your energy into finishing these 15 seconds nice and strong all the way through. Come on. 10, 9, 8, 7, all the way. Come on, let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. 1 minute rest. One minute rest and then we're back. All right, guys, here we go. We have 10 seconds. This is effort number 3. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, 3 out of 5. We're going to finish this up and be more than halfway done. All right, we should probably already feel like a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 effort. If you're going for those higher RPMs, we should be looking at 95, 100 RPMs. Try and relax your upper body. Are your shoulders hiked up? Are your elbows sticking way out? Try and relax through this. You have 45 seconds to go. We're just about to hit that wall, the final 30-second wall. Here we go. Pedal, 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 pedal. Good, there we go. Field's bunching up top. This is a great place to make up some extra spaces. All right, 10 seconds to go. We're gonna do this. We're gonna take a breath. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Okay. We have 2 more efforts. You're more than halfway done. Take that minute to catch your breath. Get ready for the second to last effort. So I like to keep these live streams to an hour-ish, just to make it digestible for everyone. I don't want to start doing 2-hour interval rides, because it's a lot. It's a lot to do on the bike if you're tuning in and maybe you're, it's one of your first live race along rides that you've done with us. However, I prescribe that original version of this workout finishes all of this, and then you're going to do about 30 minutes of just endurance riding. 60 to 70% FTP. So if you're feeling good today, do 60 to 70% of FTP at the end for 30 minutes. If not, you're going to cool down and you're done. Here we go. Effort number 4. Go, 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 go. We're coming to the end. Everyone's looking around for positioning. Sometimes at the end, make sure you feel like a 9 out of 10. It's got to happen. Sometimes at the end, there's this weird paradox where, we're all speeding up, but also everyone's slowing down, waiting to see who's going to make the move, who's going to start getting this monster rolling. So there's that like paradoxical slowdown at the end, waiting to see what's going to happen. And that usually happens earlier in the season or when there's not a ton of teamwork tactics going on, which typically first race of the season, everyone's like, all right, someone give me a good lead out to follow and I'll sprint. Nobody really wants to get the ball rolling too early. You have 30 seconds left. Make sure this feels like a 9.5 out of 10 right now, guys. Pedal, 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 pedal. Let's go. If you're going for the faster RPMs, we should be 95 plus. Come on, all the way. 14, 13. Don't let that cadence drop. Don't let it chip away at your legs. You chip away at the time. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and you get a 1 minute rest. This is your last 1 minute rest because we only have one more effort. So if you guys feel like getting the full experience in today, I put the cooldown on right after this, so we're going to cool down after this. But if you feel good, 30 minutes of 60 to 70% FTP endurance riding right after this. I just didn't include it because we don't need to sit here doing 30 minutes of nothing. So get ready. This is a totally valid workout, though, without that endurance block at the end. You can also pair this with a ride later today, a little nighttime spin if you want, and get some of your work done that way. Here we go. Final effort in 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 5 out of 5. Ooh. There we go. That's the crash. There's a wheel not even connected to the bike. Yeah. So you can see nobody sprinted for this final lap. Well, they did. Nobody behind the crash sprinted. Just roll it in. It's the first race of the season. Not that big a deal. We're going to keep going, though. We have under a minute. These racers finished. They avoided that crash, and they're rolling down right now. We're doing the opposite. We're crushing it all the way through. Pedal, 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 pedal. You have 40 seconds left. This should feel like a 9.5 out of 10. You should be wishing this was already over. Unfortunately, it's not. 30 seconds to go. This is your last effort. 20, 19, 18, 17, and the next race is already lining up, I believe, while we roll into the staging area. 10, 9, 8, finish strong, come on, 7, 6, 5, 4, all the way, 3, 2, and we're done. All right, good work, guys. So this was a little view of the upper west side, New York City, some New York City early season racing. Saying hi to E2 Value right here. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys have any questions, pop it in the comments. We're doing some aerodynamic content coming up, so that's going to be some new stuff that is going to be on the channel. So make sure you like, you subscribe. You're going to get the notifications from the channel. We're going to start off with testing a bunch of different equipment, a bunch of different positions, and make it accessible to you guys. A lot of times aerodynamic testing is which $40,000 bike is the most aero. That doesn't always help us. It doesn't help juniors. It doesn't help people on a budget, or people that should be on a budget, but we end up spending tens of thousands of dollars anyway on bikes. So I'm going to do some aero testing that's going to benefit, the regular guy, and girl. So we're going to do some of that. Make sure you like and follow. Take a look for all that content. If you have any questions, if you have any requests for races to race along to, for equipment to test, pop it in those comments. Send me a message. We're going to get it done. Anyway, cool down for another 2 to 3 minutes if you're done. If you're doing 30 minutes of endurance, you can scroll back to the beginning if you want music and race to go along to, or, let this time out and just do 30 minutes on your own. All right, till next time, guys. See you later.